Hey there, this is my fixed blade knife collection. I've roughly divided up into hobby knives on this side, wood crafting and such, and then towards your more camp or survival knives on this side, with this this big thing up here being more akin to a hand axe really, but I guess still technically it is a fixed blade knife. So I'll start from the bottom and work my way up to the top. Just a couple of comments about each one. This is one of my favourite knives. Probably if I've got three favourites here, this is favourite number one. This is the F1. This is my general camp and utility knife that I carry on my belt most times when I go bushwalking, because it is really light yet really strong. The only thing it can't do is chop. So I've got laminated VG10 steel, so it's nice stainless VG10, which is quite hard, holds a very fine edge, and then it's sandwiched between two bits of 420 stainless, keeping it nice and tough as well. I did stick this into a tree and stand on it in a recent video, and it was just fine, so nice and tough. Then you've got the K-Bar Escobar, which is the cross between the SE and the K-Bar BK11 neck knife, and I've got my my aftermarket scales on there, which are also from K-Bar. This is a comfortable little neck knife, comes in a neck sheath. I'll bring the sheaths out actually as I introduce each knife. Excuse me for that. So it comes in this little neck sheath here, clips in quite well. Some say it makes the knife go blunt as you pull it out, but for what a neck knife is to me, something you probably rarely use, it's not going to bother me too much. And just before I forget, this is the Falcon sheath. It's very nice light Zytel sheath, keeps it all very not only well retained but just very light, good sheath. Now this is the Gerber LMF2, really nice big bulky urban survival knife. Took this out recently and it just destroyed most of the tasks that I didn't think it would do that well in. Really well balanced knife, and just probably one of the most high quality knives on the table here. You can just feel it when you hold it, just really stout, strong. You could probably drop a bomb on that knife and it would be okay. The Gerber Strong Arm, this may well be my favourite knife on the table, definitely in my top three. I took this out recently and it absolutely destroyed my perceptions of what it was going to be like. The steel, even the 420HC, Gerber's got it just right, however they heat treat it or formulate it. This is shaving sharp right now, just after a quick little strop. So the Gerber Strong Arm, full tang, bit of more of a fighting knife, but also makes a great camping utility knife, very similar to the Falcon F1. This is an old hickory butcher's knife made by Ontario. It's just a piece of 1095 steel with a very simple handle. I bought this when I was getting more into the Dave Canterbury videos. He espouses the good nature of these knives, and yeah, it's pretty good for what it is. You can just see it's rusting to all hell though, and I actually keep this covered in WD-40 in my shed too, so I don't know what more you can do about that. But there you go, it's a fine knife and it takes a razor sharp edge because of that 1095 steel. This is the other little neck knife I own. This is the Gerber Ghost Strike. This comes in this sort of covert sheath, which I wear scout style across the small of my back when I feel like carrying a fixed blade as an EDC. That's 420HC again, which as I said Gerber does just right. Gets really keen edge. I'm not sure if this sheath is dulling it a little bit, but if it is, it's not too bad. It just seems to need sharpening. Almost when I haven't used it as well. The edge does look fine though, so more to follow on that one, but I do recommend it because it's even if you do have to sharpen it every week or so, just good stout fixed blade, one solid piece of steel. This sheath is very thin and low profile as well. If you did want to wear it as a neck knife, you could take these two this clip off and thread your paracord through there. Very thin little neck knife. This big bastard is the Ontario SP8 heavy machete. Ontario make a great knife for a great price. This was only 80 something Australian dollars for a huge slab of 1095 steel. Sadly don't get to use this as much anymore because I'm not out in the sticks anymore, so I'm not doing firewood prep. But this was my firewood workhorse. The axe would get it ready and this would just finish it off, get my kindling nice and slim. You don't have to batten when you've got this, you just cleave down and it chops most things in two. Really good. I stripped the coating off which is why it's not black anymore. Good cradle handle. It comes with a pretty average sheath. It's not too bad, but it's just a bit weird if anything. So it's got kind of a dangler system with leather on the back and then nylon or cordura on the front. So these buttons don't work, but it comes out the top quite easily. I'm just going to try to keep it brief here, folks. Sorry, if you want to know more about these sheaths, just read the recent video I did on them. Then onto the Moras. This is the Mora Classic 612. This is a carbon steel Mora knife. Way down in my videos you'll see a video called Mora Fail, which is where this knife did fail on me. I hinged the blade out of the handle using this guard. However, I've since filled the handle and given the blade quite a nice coating of epoxy, so it's full of epoxy glue now, and it feels really solid. So it's just a rat tail tang goes down to about there. But that's all you expect from your little bushcraft carver knives. I've got a habit of probably expecting too much. As during a recent testing video, I broke another knife, so it's probably my fault. This is the Light My Fire knife, probably the most delicate little fixed blade that I own. Very razor sharp stainless steel from Mora. That could be the sharpest knife I've got at the moment. That's just scary sharp. It's got the fire still in the handle. Bit of a gimmick, but yeah, does what it says on the box. Little fire knife. Comes in a little plastic Mora sheath. Mora sheaths are generally like this. They just go and slide into there. This is a classic Mora companion. Stainless steel. I couldn't get the carbon steel in Australia. That one's carbon, that one's stainless, and this one's stainless as well. Yeah, really good knife, very light, just a camp or carving knife, not for much more than that, just a very fun knife to use to dig away at wood and carve. Comes with again, just a Mora style sheath. This is the Mora Bushcraft Black. This is kind of your thick, stout Mora, and it is a little bit more stout. It's still probably only about as thick as, it's thicker than the old hickory. It's nowhere near the, not quite at the BK Escobar though, but it's thick for a Mora. It's still not full tang, but I mean, the tang goes down to about here, so really the tang goes past your handle, it goes past your hand, so for all intents and purposes it probably is, but it's still a rat tail as well. But a very strong knife, and I wore this on my belt for pretty much the entire couple of years that I lived out in the country doing lots of abuse and work really, so the strong tip really does quite well, and very sharp, scanty grind on it. I carry it in this sheath, which is made by Crick from the channel Black Owl Outdoors. I still use this knife from time to time. I do, as you can probably see below, have a very flash bushcraft knife, but this is the one I still use around my house, around the yard. If I just need to reach for a knife quickly, I'll get it in my Black Owl sheath, which Crick has still held up very well. And the only thing I've noticed is a bit of the stitching's come out at the bottom, and that's just from me pushing the knife too far in, and I think I've cut a couple of things, but dude, it's still really nice, and I just keep it nice with some Oberknofs from time to time. So thank you very much again. And then last is my other of my three sort of favourites. This is the LT Wright Genesis in A2 tool steel. Really comfortable broomstick grip knife, ultra sharp, zero grind edge. I've been using it quite a bit lately, so I do need to go and put that edge back on it, but it takes nothing to get it super sharp again. Just a leather strop and some Smurf poo blue compound from the UK. Look into that if you're into your bushcraft knives. Does it really well, and just probably the most comfortable knife in this whole set. Yeah, I'll get my favourites on the table and talk a bit more perhaps. I love knives. So as of right now, these are my favourite three fixed blade knives. As you can probably tell, something that appeals to me is a nice understated look in a knife, which all these have more or less. This is probably the most tactical looking, but even still it's not got anything too amazing on it. It doesn't have huge finger grooves, or it doesn't have a huge guard that comes out and makes it look like a sword. So yeah, the Gerber Strong Arm is definitely the knife that everyone's been wanting from Gerber for years now. It's the plain edge version of the Prodigy, very similar anyway, slightly different handle design, but yeah, as I said, Gerber does something right with that 420 HC steel. It's what is usually a pretty average and not very well regarded steel. As they often say, buck as well does it good too, Gerber and buck. I've got a buck knife that I've been testing that's it's like a little caper knife, but Jesus, they do it really well too. They bring 420 HC up to about the level of VG10 if you ask me, in terms of just being super stainless, holding an edge really well as well, and yeah, just the general quality. So strong arm is great. I mean, what more to say about this? This is just a proper heirloom knife. This is the kind of knife that I'll never throw out, I'll never give away, I'll leave it to someone in my will probably. Even though it's developing its little patina, I could always sand that back, but I'm starting to like it. It's nice when you use your knives and they start to show signs of being used. So yeah, but just an amazing knife, and I just couldn't recommend something from LT Wright any higher. This is kind of his basic knife that he started making, kind of one of the old blind horse designs, I think, very similar to it anyway. But geez, just that bead blasted micarta handle, just completely flush with those rivets. The whole thing around it is just smooth as, super strong 90-degree back of the blade, just hurts your finger almost rubbing up against it. Just such a well done bushcraft knife. And the Falcon Even F1 is just light. It's like custom level of quality in a production knife. So light, so sharp, just ridiculously sharp. Sharpest factory edge I've ever seen on a knife, and it still would shave hairs, I would say. In fact, let's test that. This has been sort of very barely used, but let's very fairly used lately, but yeah, still shaving hairs. Not all of the hairs anymore, but I reckon this more I might shave all the hairs. Yeah, that's just, I don't know what I did to this more to make it so terrifyingly sharp, but geez, something right. Anyway, so my fixed blade knives, just a bit of fun discussion, geeking out a bit tonight on my knives and my multi-tools. So thanks very much for watching, and for goodness sake, go and get this Gerber strong arm if you haven't already. I know I've been banging on about it for a while, but people criticise Gerber, but when they do something right, they deserve the equal amount of praise too, I think. So there you go. Thanks very much. See you next video.